It seems you barely beat the sun. Tapping my shoulder, thinking you gon' get you some. Smelling like some fragrance that I don't even wear. So if you want some loving, I suggest you go back there where you came from. Day to day with you, it's always something else. Working my nerve, God knows that I don't deserve what you put me through. Cause I've been so true to you. For you to come at me with another lame excuse. See, I heard it all before. All of your lies, all of your sweet talk. Baby this, baby that. But your lies ain't working now. Now, look who's hurting now. Look who's hurting now. I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down.
Yo. What's up, Cuzzo? Welcome to the show, everybody. My bad. I said, "What's up, Cuzzo?" Yeah, real fast. What's good, y'all? What's good? What's poppin'? How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. It's your boy Young OG Millie. We are with cousin Ebby today. You feel me? Ruger the Don. He a little under the weather, but he is floating around in the shadows somewhere, present. You feel me? Welcome to the show again, Realthentic podcast. This week we got Ebby in the building again for some self-care, self-love tips, you feel me, conversations and vibes and things like that. What's up? How you doing?
I am doing well. We've had our little earthquake over here in New York City. Thankfully, nothing went wrong. But yeah, all is well here. I can't complain. How are you?
Flustered. Talking about
Okay.
my stuff not going live and everything going wrong 10 minutes before the show. It's crazy to me, but you know how Facebook do what it want to do, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, the astrology girls say that this is the time of a lot of technological issues and things like that. I'm not that deep in astrology. I can't tell you the moon and stars behind it all, but when experts say things, you know, I just listen. So for the people that know all about the planet alignments and the stars and the moons and things like that, they said, you know, one, we are having an eclipse, but then this is just a time where there's going to be a lot of hiccups in technology, a lot of miscommunication. So, you know, going into it knowing that allows me to have a lot more patience. So just know that this is a time for things to go wrong.
I have never had patience. You know, it's never been my strong thing. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people. It's not me. I be trying.
It's a skill. It's a skill. Patience is a muscle that you have to grow.
Man, it's my muscle not working today. But we working on it though, you know. We working on it. I'm gonna try my best not to have an impulse reaction and go click add channels and all of that during the show because God knows what's gonna happen if I do that. So we just gonna leave it alone today.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah. Because I don't want to mess this up.
Mm-hmm.
So self-care. Wait, hold on. Rewind. How you feeling mentally? I know we sort of kind of address like how we feeling like on the ick or on the but how you feeling mentally?
I feel good. Like I said, I have already gone into this month really understanding that this is like a time where there's a lot of confusion. This is not a time to address unless you absolutely need to address certain things. If they can wait, you know, do it at another time. And so I'm the kind of person where if I know something ahead of time, then I can just kind of go into it with that mindset, like, this is just a time to chill.
Right.
Everybody's susceptible to overreacting. So if you know that, um, that helps to not take certain things as personally as I would if I wasn't aware. It also just is like, I'm gonna be as laid back as I can at this time.
Probably for the
So,
best.
yeah, I mean, it's working. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I try to have that kind of a mindset. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being completely out of it, and 10 feeling incredible, I would say I'm probably like an 8, 9, because I'm tired.
Hey,
But
nah,
that's it.
oh, I was about to say that's kind of. I'm at a like I'm fucking at like a 7 today, and the only reason why I probably dropped down 2 is because of the technological issues that I'm having struggles with. I'm at a 7 today. Like today was cool. We took the kids to the park. They went to the park yesterday.
Mhm.
We took baby girl. We got a scooter. We got Juju a scooter, and we took them outside. She actually know how to. She was out here whipping the scooter.
Okay.
Okay, then with the little beret side and all
Listen,
that.
I already knew how to do this. I just needed the equipment.
I just needed the equipment. Oh, all right, little shorty, okay. With your little barrettes flying to the left, to the right, like it was
Go
cool.
her.
So it was dope. It was dope.
I
And then
love that.
facts, and then you know, it was just a good mental week for me. I ain't gonna lie to you. Me getting personal, me and wifey had like a little thing this week, and it was like a real big breakthrough for us. Like we just realized. And I feel like you go through these phases when you like together for long periods of time. Like you just go through certain things, and it's just like, damn, we overcame that. That's fire. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is dope.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had a moment like that this week too, and that shit was really, really, really positive. Like I ain't gonna lie to you.
Mhm.
I feel like it brought us closer together. Um, I feel like I did a lot of self reflection in that moment too, and I needed it. But it definitely brought us closer together. And I hope she feel the same way. You feel me? But you know, it brought us closer together, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because young, young Rico Suave over here. You know, I handle my business. But yeah, it was dope. It was dope as hell. It was dope as hell. Hey baby, what's up? I see you just popped in the building. I was just talking about you. Um, but yeah, it was a good week for real, for real. It was a good week. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, facts. Earthquake in New York is crazy. 2024, you fucking up. Please don't let that shit happen again, cause our dad come beat you up. Um, yeah, that's what I got to say about the earthquake.
Mhm.
Don't do
Yeah.
nothing. You ain't do
I
nothing.
uh Hey Katie. No, I love that. And I think that one of the best parts about maturing in general,
Mhm.
but even growing in your mental health and pouring into your own self-care, all that, is that you're able to even acknowledge points of growth. You know what I mean? Like when you're not as self-aware, good things happen, growth happens, and you don't really notice it. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, oh, I went left instead of right this time. Okay, cool.
Right.
Where when you do become more aware, um, and you are more mature and you are a lot more attuned with yourself and changes and your own growth and improvement, you can see those moments and really treasure them and
Mm.
say like, wow, this is really a point of growth. And you can see how it helps and you can see where it can, get better and all of those kinds of things. So so that's awesome. I'm happy for you both.
Yeah.
Good family time can be very restorative. And it sounds like, by all accounts, that's what it was for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to see
And
your
I ain't gonna lie.
relationship grow and your kids grow.
Yeah, facts. That's a fact. Especially because like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of division on the internet right now. Like there's a lot of
Mhm.
ways. Like a lot of people are trying to be divided right now. It's like, what can I do to bring myself closer to my people? Like you feel me? Like I was so excited when you hit me up and you was like, "Yo, so it's the first. What's up? What we doing?" I was like, "Oh yeah, Death Row, we winning again." You feel me? But it was really really dope. Like I was like, "Yo, this is about to be another fire episode." Like You feel me? So definitely happy that you are here. You know, and we about to what's on the agenda for self care today.
Um, so, two, I'm happy to be here. But the last time I was on here, we started to explore self-love a little bit. And Ruga explained that that's not um something he's really ever thought about, and um kind of like got a little curious about that. So this time I was thinking, since I'm on here, I'm gonna be on here the first of every month, the first Friday of every month. And we can have, a self-care check-in. And so I'm always open to suggestions. If any of your listeners or followers want to learn more about different things, they can always share that. The ticker is hilarious.
Yeah, fact.
Um,
Okay, with Ebonee the goat, you heard? Huh? I wish I had noises to with the confetti and all that, but facts.
that's but to build on our conversation last time about self-care, in these conversations, I would like to give people either practical tools so that they can actually try something. And so self-care, we talked about what self-care is, literally like your most common practices that really nurture who you are. And self-love is a part of that, right? Because when you love who you are, you love wholly. You know what I mean? You love the entirety of who you are. There's self-acceptance, there's gratitude, there is self-esteem, there's self-confidence. All of that falls under the umbrella of self-care, self-love. And one of the things we touched on is how people can have a lot of self-confidence without a lot of self-esteem. And self-confidence is being secure, confident, and proud of what you can do, where self-esteem is the same feelings about who you are, meaning you have a sense of worthiness and you are clear on your worthiness with who you are, regardless of what's happening.
Right.
So, regardless of what you have, regardless of where you are, you know that you are still a person of value, and that you are worth your own life, you are worth, goodness and all of those kinds of things. And this is obviously a podcast where I feel like most of your audience are men. And so I'm kind of thinking of and sharing this information through the lens of like what I've seen as in common themes amongst the men in my life, or the things that men share with me, and how there are a lot of spaces for men that really encourage a lot of confidence, right? Like you need to look secure, you need to be, proud and tough and strong and confident, all those kinds of things. But that really is only half of it. And so, if it all tips to one side, there's a level of imbalance there that eventually can create a lot of internal tension and confusion. And so, how do you build the muscle of self-esteem? And how do you learn to love who you are, not just what you have or what you can do? And, you touched on a lot of the divide that we see online, which is a reminder the things that are on the internet are not real all the way.
Yeah.
Like some of the most like inflammatory things on the internet are so sensationalized because they generate attention and drama and things like that. There's a lot of truth in many things on the internet. Like the internet serves an amazing purpose as like, if you really want to become more informed, the internet allows you to, and I mean genuinely informed, not cycling around conversations between people who don't have anything but their lived experience. But if you really want to understand things that are foreign to you, the internet absolutely allows that information to be accessible. If you really want to understand different communities of people, the internet absolutely allows for you to do that in a respectful kind of way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can be in community with so many different kinds of people, and the internet allows for that to happen. But it's also a place where there's a lot of inflammatory information, right? And a lot of confusion. Um, and one of the more common ways that that functions is um, the implication that there is like this great um, divide.
Mhm.
And um, one of the wonderful things about a show like this is that hopefully we will foster the kind of environment where people can come to learn to be better.
Right.
Um, this isn't, by all accounts, like I know at least these conversations aren't going to be the place where we kind of feed into that. Um, but yeah, so one of the ways that we can peel back the layer of understanding what care and love looks like is our internal dialogue, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
How you talk to
negative
yourself.
correct. Negative self-talk is one of the fastest ways to really chip away at your self-esteem because it's like a sneaky, it's like a silent bully, right?
Yeah.
Silent meaning to the outside world because nobody hears it but you. Um, and so negative self-talk is definitely one of those ways that you can keep your self-esteem down, and it allows you to keep the front of high self-confidence because again, this is internal.
Yeah.
And so one of the ways that you can combat that, if anyone would like to try, like, I don't know, I'll start here. Is that something that's a challenge for you?
Me personally, like, I'm a Capricorn, so yeah, 50-50. Because sometimes it's like I get moody, and then I don't want to be bothered, and because I don't want to be bothered, I feel like don't nobody want to bother me. And it's like, nah, you got 50 million people that actually like really, really rock with you for real. But I'm moody, so yeah, I feel like I can relate to that to a degree. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
Because a lot of times it don't even be. It isn't even like, oh, I'm doing something wrong or I'm not doing something right. It's just I slept bad, so I I'm already a little out of my normal state of mind. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once once you get there, it's like, yep. And now look at the time. Are you late for something? Yeah, you big dummy. You're late. Look at you, just
mhm,
late. You know what I'm saying? And it just spiral
mhm,
from there. It'd be the
mhm,
littlest. It'd be the littlest thing sometimes too. And you just catch yourself spiraling from there. So yeah, I definitely can relate. That's I don't now. The question is, how do we minimize these negative kind of like thoughts? You know what I'm saying? Like how do we like I don't know. Because I'm not gonna say bad days are not gonna happen. That's unrealistic, right? But I am gonna say like if you feel like you always got a cloud following you type shit, how do
mhm,
we how do we eventually outrun the cloud?
mhm. So I think you bring up a good point in that it can happen in such little, seemingly harmless ways,
Hmm.
right? Like, oh, look at you now, you're late again, you
Yeah,
know, or that was dumb.
yeah,
Like these little kind of throwaway comments, right? But ultimately, those comments create an internal environment where you're always criticizing yourself. Never good enough. You could be doing better. You're failing. You're a mess up. Like, like it create that's the cloud.
yeah,
This crap that the cloud is this negative perception of self. And um there's like two distinct dimensions that I want to clarify. If the cloud, like where we talk about experiencing depression or anxiety or things like that in a um in kind of like a day-to-day thing
hmm,
versus a clinical you have been diagnosed kind of thing.
hmm,
I want to stay in my lane. I'm not, anybody's doctor. I can't speak to care protocol for any specific diagnosis.
Of course.
And it is important to know that if you feel like your dark cloud, there's a difference between your dark cloud because you recognize you didn't get enough sleep, you have a lot of stress going on, these things are really happening, this is unlike you. That's a different kind of dark cloud, right? When you have a dark cloud that lasts so long that it is preventing you from living your life, you need to consider a stronger intervention with qualified support, right? That is important. And if your experience with feeling down or feeling unlike yourself, that it gets to a place where you can't even function properly, like you realize like I haven't showered in a long time, or I'm not speaking to anybody. I'm about to get fired because of not being able to get up and go to work. Like when it is impairing your life, it's important to consider that it is beyond, it's at a point where stronger interventions may be so much more helpful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
So I just want to put that out there. This is definitely a place I'm very pro therapy. Get the help that you need. There is no shame in ever getting any kind of help. And also there's so many different kinds of therapy. I think when people are presented with the idea of therapy, they think of the long couch and somebody that doesn't look like them, somebody that somebody doesn't know them, and you telling your life story and the going as far back as you can to like the depths of some of the most painful memories that you have. That is one kind of therapy. There are hundreds of kinds of therapy. It is about finding the right match for you to get you the help that you need, right? So when I'm talking about, these practical tips and things like that, this isn't in substitute for anything that would really help you address the kinds of concerns that would be supported by professional help.
Right.
Okay. Now on the other side of that, when you're talking about like a dark cloud, like I'm having a terrible day, or this is just a rough week, or I'm in this period in my life where like nothing's working out, the earthquake and the eclipse and all those kinds of things are happening, right? The cloud can also be, the culmination of this idea of who you are, right? I'm always messing up. I'm always that internal dialogue. And it starts with awareness. Being aware that it happens is like the baseline for even understanding what's going on.
Okay.
Because sometimes, people think these things and just kind of go about their business.
Right.
But even being aware that one, it happens, and two, when does it happen? Does it happen when you are hungry, tired, stressed? Does it happen when seemingly everything is going fine and you have to find something to pick about yourself? Does it happen when you're uncomfortable? Does it happen when you're scared? Does it happen when you feel embarrassed? Like when do these things happening most often? Documenting it is a way to kind of keep track of it, however that looks, right? It could be journaling. It can be a note, that you put in your phone or whatever, or it could just, some people like to just keep mental notes. But starting with the awareness. And two strategies. One I've actually tried, and the other one I've only read about. The one, my therapist a few years ago actually shared with me, where she said, tell yourself the whole truth. Right? So if you have
that's harder than most want to actually admit.
Right. So you have the negative, right?
Yeah.
Look at you, you're always running late. That's the initial thought, right?
Right.
If you take 3 steps back, you tell the whole truth, then the other part of that for me was, yeah, but you're also uh, getting your master's, you're also working a full-time job, you're also taking care of these things, you're also in your relationship and that's important to you. You're also taking care of your pets. You're also, you know what I mean? Where it's like, tell the whole truth, I also have a lot of responsibilities that I am taking care of. The whole truth is that I have a lot going on. The whole truth is that I am really good at these other things, right? That me focusing on the fact that I'm running late again, when in reality it's because I stayed up late doing an assignment so that I can, whatever. That's the whole picture,
Yeah,
right? And that kind of
don't beat
takes
yourself up.
yeah,
If you,
it takes the sting out of it.
yeah,
So it's like, yeah, you're late, comma, because all of these other things were happening.
yeah,
And when I acknowledge all the other things that are happening, I deserve grace.
yeah.
Or
Grace.
or I acknowledge all these other things are happening. So me running late and that is not messing up anything else for anybody in anybody's life is just not that big of a deal.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So like, again, telling the whole picture. So that's one strategy. The other one is wearing a rubber band. And so you wear a rubber band around your wrist for a day, 2 days, a week, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you have a negative thought, you pop the rubber band. And the idea behind that is to, again, bring a level of awareness to yourself of how often you do it. And again, it all starts with awareness. And so if you get to the end of the day and you're like, I've been popping this rubber band all day long, then that can give you an idea of how frequently you speak negatively about yourself.
Yeah.
And where do you go from there?
Change it. First step to changing it.
Right.
Being able to identify that, I guess with the rubber band, being able to identify how many times you popping in, and like you said, yeah, I've been popping this shit all day. It's like, yeah, this shit hurt.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. Let me think about some other things that I got going on. It hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So, definitely, that's fine.
Yeah. So, that was the the practical tip for today's episode of if anybody wanted to start in understanding where they can begin their own exploration of self-love and self-care, try the rubber band. Wear it for a day, wear it for a week. And, nobody, it's a very inconspicuous kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not trying to whip out a journal in the middle of the day and write it down. You can also make notes like in your note app or something if you wanted to put a star in a note every time a thought came up. You can do that however you want. But the rubber band is kind of an easy way. It's also a little bit more memorable. Like I said, if you realize that you've been popping that band like all day or every 15 minutes or whatever, that's something that you can kind of remember and tally at the end of the day. It only happened a couple of times, so this is really not a challenge for me. I feel like I actually have a pretty solid sense of self, or this, I really don't speak very kindly to who I am. And, the more you become familiar with that voice and how frequently it comes up, is this something that you would say to someone that you loved?
Facts.
Would you speak to someone that you respected? Would you say these things to a 3-year-old? Would you say these things to your grandmother? Would you say these things to, or a stranger? Like, and really start interrogating that voice.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of times, and this is, I can tell you, for me, what forced me to be a lot more intentional with how I spoke to children And when I got my master's in developmental psychology, so this also helped in understanding how people grow developmentally. Kids don't understand sarcasm.
Not at all.
They can't. Like
Not
they cannot conceptualize sarcasm.
not at all.
So when
Really,
you
Dad?
say, yeah, like they're very literal. Children are incredibly literal. And I believe it was Tiffany Haddish in an interview who said that she thought she was dumb for a really long time because she always played jokes, and the adults in her life would go, "Oh, she's so dumb." And as adults, they meant funny,
Yeah,
like she's silly. As a child, she didn't know that. So she was like, it wasn't really until high school that I realized that I was even kind of smart. I just accepted that I was dumb.
that's crazy.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And understanding that what you say to children is an absolute fact forced me to be way more careful with what I say to kids.
Because that can tumble down a whole bunch of other rabbit holes. Like, what if because for all of that time they told her she was dumb, she became a poor student because she felt like she just could not. It just overwhelmed her to even attempt to manage the school workload. Like for her to at least get to high school and identify like, nah, I'm actually kind of smart. It's like, damn, like that's crazy.
Right. And all the like, and again, it doesn't, by all accounts, I don't know Tiffany Haddish. I don't know her life. I don't know the people in her life either. I'm just talking about this one specific thing. But
Right.
like by all accounts, it doesn't seem like the adults in her life were trying to disparage her from anything. But what you say to kids is a fact. And so unfortunately, the negative voice that that adults have are from the voices that they heard when they were children. And the criticism they have for themselves are the voices and opinions of other people in their life that they have heard during really critical points in their development. Um, and so that can also allow you to have like a critical distance between you and the internal voice that isn't very positive. Because I don't remember where it was another psychologist, but I don't remember where I heard this. But in when talking about the negative self-talk, she asked, "Whose voice is that? Is it yours, or is it the teacher from third grade? Is it yours? Is it your parents? Is it yours? Is it your uncles?" Because
That's
when you ask, huh?
now I'm just thinking about it. I'm just like, yeah, that's crazy because you never even really, as an adult that that is guilty of self talking. I never really thought about whose voice am I hearing? Am I hearing my own? Am I hearing Miss Dangle from first grade who didn't like me like a motherfucker? Like, you feel me? Like I was a kid, but I was bad. So she said. But you feel me? But even that, like, yo,
Mhm.
I was bad. I wasn't a bad kid. I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like I was intrigued by the things going on around me because I didn't know what a lot of it was, and then things that I did or I was able to identify because I was taught whatever I was taught at home. It's like, damn, yeah, you're a badass kid.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never really thought about that.
Mhm.
Never really thought about that. Like the voice is not always yours. Like sometimes it's yeah, damn,
Kids don't come out insecure. In fact, kids come out the most self-assured.
right. Oh, trust.
Um, yeah, they are confident. They are, very sure of who they are. They don't have a negative perception of themselves until they're told. And so,
Almost unconsciously fearless about that aspect until you teach them how to do that sort of kind of like as the adult. If you negative talk your child by telling him because he's a little hyper that he's a bad kid, when he becomes
mhm,
older he's gonna hear,
I've
"Man,
always been a bad kid.
I always been a bad kid." Like you feel me,
Mhm.
bro? Now you was just a kid.
Right. Right.
Crazy. That shit
It
is
is. And I think, when we understand how delicate children are,
yeah.
adults are also very delicate. We're all human, like we have incredible resilience and adaptability, and all of those things that we need to continue to survive in this life. But people, it's very easy um, to hurt others,
Yeah.
and yeah, that internal voice can become a really critical part of a person's ability to accept who they are, right? It's also something that can be learned. So, if you're exposed to people who don't speak highly of themselves out loud, that can also normalize the idea that, being an adult means that you don't really like who you are,
Right.
or, it's impolite to think highly of yourself,
Yeah.
right? Or it's it's not a good thing. So, I say all of that to say awareness is really where it begins. And being curious. I always encourage people to be curious versus being critical, because curiosity allows for grace. Curiosity allows for flexibility. Curiosity allows for this to be, you're exploring. When you're exploring, you have an open mind, you're a little bit more understanding, you're a lot more understanding versus being critical when you're on the hunt to try to find an answer, you miss things.
That's a fact.
You're looking to attack, you're looking, and when you're trying to discover more of who you are, to really accept more of who you are, curiosity is going to allow you to be a lot kinder.
I thought curiosity killed a cat.
You're not a cat.
That's a fact. I'm not a cat. I
So,
am not
you know, there's that.
a cat.
But
But
yeah.
the only reason why I say curiosity killed a cat is because I feel like, especially with mental health, right? Curiosity could definitely be positive as a tool, but it could also help with the negative on that side too. Because, like you said, a lot of sometimes maybe even the negative behavior about self talk, the negative self talk is a taught thing. So, because you're curious about how, go because you're curious about how Ruga is a jerk, acknowledging that I'm not a cat. But when you're curious about certain things, man, it could just open up windows and doors for places that you probably didn't even think of. Uh, Things that you probably wouldn't even normally let enter into your, however you view your mental mind state or your temple or your body or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the energy itself is just like, damn, like, I always like that statement, curiosity killed a cat, but it's like, yeah, curiosity can help you, it can hurt you too.
Mhm. How would being curious about why you practice negative self-talk, or um, how it's affecting you? Why would the curiosity um, about exploring that open you up to something negative? Like, what would the negative thing be?
I mean, if you're, I say it like this: if you are like a gullible kind of person, right? Like a person that could easily fall into a mental trap, emotional trap, a physical trap. You feel me? If you're just one of those kind of people, I feel like curiosity of how somebody else is self talking about themselves around you could hurt you, if especially if you're not doing these things because it's a learned behavior. So now you've witnessed somebody else do it, and like you said earlier, well, I saw this happen with such and such, so this is how adults must handle things. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's an adult that was curious about this thing, it takes them a while to find themselves as far as that aspect, because they're saying, oh, well, I can be negative about this, or I can be positive about this. I just have to hunt the good stuff, as they taught us in the army. I hated that. Hunt the good stuff. It's like, nah, bro, I want to hunt the good stuff. it's raining. I don't want to run. Y'all want me to run? Like, no, bro. Ain't nothing good about this run other than I'm gonna be a little bit stronger physically than I was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
realistically, nah, this run, bro. I don't want to do it. You feel me? Like, but back to the curiosity thing. No, that's the reason why I say that, because it's like, if you are not being taught this, like if this is not something that's being taught at your home, and your name is Eric. Little Eric is not being taught negative self talk at home, but he goes to little Johnny's house where his dad reminds him every day he a badass kid, not that smart. Like, that shit could really, as a kid, that could open up them negative doorways to fuck you up. That's what I was trying to say, I guess. Not
Mhm.
necessarily adulthood, but definitely as a child. Like, it's just like, damn, like, and as a parent, it just make you think, damn, too, like, am I too aggressive with my kids? Because I'm Bernie Mac in my house. You feel me? Like, ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just my kids think it's hilarious. So it's like, damn, like, I hope I ain't never said nothing to them that they took to heart, or I was joking around and they took it serious, and now that's a, that's why I was like, damn, like, this shit
Mhm.
this shit can spiral in so many different ways.
Mhm. I think so when I'm talking about curiosity, I'm talking about your own internal curiosity,
Okay.
not necessarily exploring other people's things. That's everybody's on their own journey.
That's
So when I mean curiosity, I mean being curious about your own behavior.
okay.
And is this something that I picked up from going? Is this something that adult Eric? Is this something that I picked this up because when I went to my friend's house, his dad was always horrible.
Yeah.
That's where that came from. That it's that kind of curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Um, and even I have a lot of friends who have kids, and so it's always really interesting to see when they come up to that point too of like, oh, maybe I should stop doing blank, or you know what I mean, or like, I wonder if I ever. And the great thing about kids is that they are incredibly honest. So you can just ask.
Yeah.
Obviously if they're of age where they can really like share those kinds of things, but you can just ask. I had a whole conversation. I visited my best friend earlier this week because she has a newborn. So I went down there to help her with the baby. And my godson is older, he's in middle school. And we had a whole conversation about the one time he got in trouble when he was like 4. And he was like, "You really snapped on me." And like, fortunately, he has the kind of parent, like my best friend's an excellent mother. And so he has the kind of parent where he could really say, that hurt. And here he is like 7 years later,
Yeah.
and he's still affected by it, but they can have a conversation
Yeah.
and she can explain, where she was at the time. And I'm like, we're almost 40 now. So I'm like, your mom was also like in her 20s at that point,
Right.
and you're her first child, and she was
Fact.
learning, how to do this. And he's at the age, she also accepted accountability for her overreaction. So she started there and validated his feelings. Like, I can see that this clearly upset you.
Yeah.
Um, sorry for that. If you like, and he was like, like, why? And they were able to have a conversation about it.
Opposed to,
Um,
like, oh well, it was justified because you was wilding, like, you know what I mean? It's, yeah, I was like,
yeah, and it's like, would I have handled it differently? Yes. I wish I didn't do that, and I'm sorry. And then they went on and had the rest of their conversation, but it wasn't this like. I feel like sometimes the idea of having difficult conversations and things like that seems to be like really heavy, but or uncomfortable, and sure they are, but they're not always like that. And again, the wonderful thing about kids, and this is why I could never understand people who hurt children,
yeah,
all they want to do is love you.
facts.
That's it. Like, they are the most forgiving, most enthusiastic, most optimistic people in the world.
Facts.
um they are the most trusting, and they really just want to be around you. They want to be loved. They want to impress you. Like, so it's very easy to just have that conversation, you know?
And when
And
you when they look up to you, it's sort of kind of compiled and compartmentalized. I can't speak today to save my life. Compartmentalized so that am I the hero and your villain in your story now, or did I turn villain one day because Daddy said, "Hey, nah, bro, we not playing no damn video games at 12 o'clock in the morning." Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, that's definitely important. And then that helps us also understand as adult children, right? That this is why mom, who's now grandma, is super duper nice. But when you was younger, you probably caught the switch to belt everything for your behaviors. But now your kids is like getting away with murder. So you think the parent now because the roles reversed. Now you're their age with your own situation, and they're watching you raise your kids. Somebody got to be the voice of reason if they don't got an Ebony. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense.
listen, I'm an auntie. The wonderful thing about being an aunt or being a grandmother, being a grandparent, godparent, whatever, is that you get all the love and none of the responsibility. It's easier. It's just an easier role. You just get that. You know, like I'm a godmother and I'm an aunt. I take that very seriously. I love all the babies in my life.
Ebony.
That's funny. And I'm not responsible for raising these kids. You know what I mean? I get to be all it's all love, right? I feel responsible for them? Sure. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely a part of their village. And again, I take very seriously um how I am as being a safe adult in their lives. I'm very intentional about the time that I spend with them, how I talk. It's a wise thing that has always been there. I've literally had to learn this. And how, you know, adult humor doesn't apply to kids and how it really can affect them in ways that you just don't know. And not in these like severe ways that they're going to go down some path and the rest of their life because you cracked a joke and they didn't find it fun. Not that. But it's like, you know, you cannot, I will die on this hill. You can't spoil a child with love.
No.
That isn't a thing. You can never have too much love. The idea is that they have so much love in their life as kids that when they are older and they are out in the world and they are interacting with you less and the world more, they have been so filled with the love that they have in their life that they're running on a full tank. They're
Right.
not running on E looking for all of these other things to fill them. They already got it. You
Facts.
know what I mean? And so I take that seriously as an adult. Again, I'm older now and I understand how children work. I understand that it is not, kids are not bad. They are usually bored.
Facts.
Um,
Facts.
kids misbehave. It's part of childhood. They break things. It's part of childhood. They're loud. It's part of being a kid. You know what I mean? Like they are quite literally figuring out the
And a lot
world for the
that can
first time.
be replaced. So it's like you shouldn't even really like
Yeah. It doesn't mean that those things are not upsetting. It
yeah.
doesn't mean that you don't, as an adult, have feelings and reactions to those things. You know what I mean? But like,
I'm definitely, what?
right. Yeah, it doesn't mean that those things
Yeah.
are not, you're not gonna also have a human reaction to your space being violated, to your stuff being broken, to your, you know, patience being tested. Like that's also human, right? But you know, it is important because I know, and I know that you know, so many adults that didn't feel like they made it. They don't have a full tank of love and affirmation, and are having a hard time with that now. And you know, we're out of young adulthood. So, you know, at this point, you're filling your own tank, and your peers the life that you create for yourself is what also feels that now. Um, and it is important that to tie this all together, um, that in an effort to keep filling the tank, you recognize what are the things that are draining it.
Yeah.
And negative self-talk, um, to keep the visual going, the negative self-talk is the holes that you okay. Speaking of kids. Hi, little one. I don't know who that is, but hello.
A whole naked baby. You heard, just ran up on me. Dad, where's my scooter? I said, could we?
Put some clothes on. You're not riding that right now around the house.
She definitely just grabbed her scooter and she is going upstairs with her scooter right
She's
now.
like later.
She got it for at least another 10 minutes.
At least she's enjoying it. Listen,
like,
she could be coloring on the walls.
like I wish you feel me. Like I wish I was one of them parents that was like, nah, you can't do this in the crib. You can't do that in the crib. Nah, I mean, as long as you're not going down the stairs on your scooter, I'm cool with it. You feel me? You got the space in your room. Roll around in a circle. If it's gonna make you happy.
Tire yourself out. It's 8 o'clock anyway.
It's 8 o'clock anyway. We about to eat pizza probably and go to bed in 2 hours.
That sounds like fun.
You feel me? Little movie night, little popcorn, 2 hours, bedtime. Good night. Spring break is rapidly ending anyway. And we need to get back to our school schedule, regular weekend bedtimes anyway. So it really just caught me off guard that she really came down here like that. I was like, what a whole naked
I just came down here for my scooter. Don't mind the outfit or lack thereof.
and then looked at me and was like because I watched her walk in and I was like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? She's like, I'm getting my scooter, daddy. All right, go crazy, shorty. You feel me? You ain't hurting nothing. Now, she threw the remote at my TV. Blue. You heard? I was like, yo, there's no way, as a parent, I mistreated you. There's no way. There's no way I mistreated you. Why did you do that to my TV? But we got the TV replaced. It wasn't that. It was just, like you said, initial reaction. What the fuck?
Don't do that again.
Please.
Don't do that again.
I moved the whole TV out the living room because I'm so terrified that they're gonna do it again. So I moved it right into
that no more.
Do it again. And she's back.
I see.
She had to get her helmet.
Oh, let's safety first. Safety first.
Shorty really came back to get her helmet and then just slammed the door. Bye, Shorty. See you later. Crazy.
Listen, she's ready to go now.
Everyone needs an Ebonee.
Okay.
I think that needs to be a hashtag for Masakari. If you're locked in with Ebonee, you need to be locked in. Masakari.com. Instagram,
Yes.
Masakari.
Yep.
Everybody needs an Ebonee. Facts. That's gonna be our Friday hashtags for now on. Everyone needs
wow.
My bad. Millie whispers like a 3-year-old. Wow, bro. Why don't you come on the camera and tell people why you playing hooky backstage? Last 5 minutes.
You listen. Part of the negative self-talk is the teasing. So you wear the rubber band.
Me or him?
No, Ruga. You wear the rubber band and you report back.
Pow.
Right.
Pow, brother. Yo, son, I'm not about to play with you while you all here on the captions and we
right.
This man crazy, son. Oh man.
Well, to wrap this conversation up.
I'm sorry.
To wrap this conversation up.
Okay. He really typed out the That's why I'm crying. So. I'm sorry.
He is the peanut gallery this episode.
Yo, he is. He really is. You said to wrap this conversation up, though.
Yes, to wrap this conversation up, to start or build on wherever you are with this, in your exploration of self-love, start with your negative self-talk and address that. It begins with awareness. You can do that. Our activity this time, I encourage everybody to try it. Report back with wearing a rubber band for a day or two or a week, however long you want. And every time you have a negative thought, just pop it, to bring awareness to, one, how frequently it happens, and two, if there's any particular time that it happens most often, and just get curious from there. Whose voice is that is giving you those ideas or speaking to you in that way, and what can you do to combat it? Either stopping it, because that's another thing. You can kind of, like you said, spiral from there. Stopping the spiral with the snap of the rubber band. And so instead of it domino affecting into a series of terrible thoughts, one bad thought, you pop the rubber band. Okay, that's my sign to move on.
Or tell yourself the whole truth.
Or you tell yourself the whole truth. So that is when you have a negative thought, you zoom out to tell the whole picture. So if it's, you're such a lazy person, zoom out. You also are getting to work on time, or you're also somebody that has 2 jobs. You're also somebody, whatever. Tell the whole truth so that it is not only the negative perception of what is happening or yourself, but it is also all the other things that allows you to give yourself grace and understanding. And that's my self-love talk for today.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I think next time we need to really tap in on that grace thing, because I feel like grace can be maneuvered so many different ways. You know what I'm saying? And we could really, really like tap into what the true definition of, not really the true definition, because I ain't trying to like make it deeper than what it is, but we could really tap into the real meaning of giving yourself grace. Like, if you really need to reset, like somebody said on Instagram, I love this comment. It was reset, redo, retry as many times as you need to in order to be successful. You feel me? Like, there's no limitation on how many times you should attempt to be successful. And I think we should apply that to like mental health too. Like, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It's important to reset yourself. It's necessary, because if you are having issues with letting things you want to grow from go, then shit, you got to reset yourself. And if you reset yourself with another person, you just have to have that understanding that, going forward from this day, or however you need to do it, whether it's with rubber bands as a reminder, or, you got to laugh with each other so that you can remember, like, you feel me? How to reset. Like, that shit is important, because the reset, shit. I know how to reset life a couple of times for myself, just so that I could recenter myself and get back to who I was raised to be and not who I'm learning to be. Granted, sometimes they're the same person, but sometimes they conflict because of morals. And it's like, I ain't going against my morals, so I gotta look at the spectrum and do something different. You feel me? So yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, you can never start over too many times.
Yeah,
it's your life. Like that. That's just that. And like we talked about the last time, it is ultimately about how you want to get to the end of your life, and feel like you really lived it for you.
Yeah.
And if that means that you pivot, that means if you recenter, that means if you start over, that's on you. So yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Cuzzo, I appreciate you for being on the show. I think Ruga the Don appreciates you for pulling up as well. You feel me? Well, this is Death Row, so I appreciate you for being locked in with Bro and all of that. You feel me? It's your boy Young OG Millie. You feel me? Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all of our social media. Tapping with us on Realthentic Podcast. Tapping with Cuzzo at Masakari. You feel me.com. Masakari on Instagram too. You feel me? We gonna catch y'all next Friday. We out of here.
Bye.